Hello and welcome to Game Geek 15 preview. Hi, this is Joseph and joining me as usual on Never Onside, Mayur Chopdekar. Hi Mayur,
Hi,
how are things
Jose.
going? Who are
Yes,
we
all good.
targeting for this week and will Haaland play?
So,
So
too many
let's
questions.
get into this. Too many
Too many
questions.
questions this week, right? All flags, everything around. The only positive news came out that Saka is back in training. So, hopefully, that gives a lot of people good hopes and not many minus hits to play some good players. Cool. Let's move on.
Definitely. So these are the Game Week 15 fixtures and straight up City versus Fulham is a good fixture to target. And just before we came on the podcast, we saw a tweet by City Extras that Haaland is training and he is happy and fit enough. So hopefully he'll start. And De Bruyne has been rested, so he should also start. The big question is, will Foden, uh, you know, give us more pain this time after bringing him on recently? And that is a big question, but no one can answer that unless Pep comes out and says that Fortin is going to start or not. Right. So, other than that, what fixtures are you looking at, Mayur?
So this is a very tricky fixture week where most of the big teams play each other, and
Right.
many big clubs had already asked Premier League to keep game week 16 a very low affair, right? Where every team plays a possible weaker opponent, not many big games and everything. So it's a very tricky week this week around how you manage through those Liverpool Spurs game, Chelsea Arsenal game, and this week's focus is City primary. If you don't have three City assets, that should be your priority to go to three City assets. But apart from that, don't completely invest in that because next week the fixtures are very good for some good teams and there will be a lot of options apart around there. Yes, so that is my
So,
take on the fixture.
so basically, get through this game week without much hits because the run of fixtures changes from the next game week, right? That is the point that you're trying to make.
That is the point.
Yeah,
And
right.
this should be a city oriented week where you go to three cities. Don't take too many hits for that. If it's not possible, stay with two, and you can take more hits the next week where there are more options and you can judge accordingly.
Right. And also something to note is Newcastle, who are turning into a really good side. And if you see the fixture trackers and the attacking stats, you will see Newcastle being on top more than City and Liverpool and Arsenal in the last 5 games. So that is also something to note. And I'm sure most people would have gotten Wilson ahead of the two price rises that he had, and instead of Tony. Did you do that transfer?
No, I'm still waiting. Probably still will wait till the last 15 minutes till we get any
Yeah.
early news. So yes, holding on to my transfers. And as we had mentioned in the podcast, you had already made one of your free transfers. So we'll
Yes.
see
So
soon. Yes. Apart from
right.
that, any fixtures about how about United hosts? How confident are you about the two United games which we are going to see? And
Yeah.
what
So
is your
United
take?
has a good run of fixtures, like two good fixtures going into the World Cup. But the issue I feel is that if you look at United and the number of goals they have scored, and their XG is around 1.1 per match. And probably they'll score one goal and and win the match, or maximum two goals. And I can't see a big haul happening for any of the players except for Rashford because of his price. Definitely he's a good shout, but other than that, I don't see any hope in going for United players, because but most of the people are backing United because of the two fixtures. But if you look at how Eric Ten Hag is trying to convert his team, I feel that let's not go there right now. Let's figure out how they are trying to play now, and then move on to them uh, after the World Cup. Maybe that's my plan.
I think the Fulham game, which is next week, is more of a Rashford game where he will get much opportunities to counter attack, and Aston Villa might against playing with Emery might sit deep, and then again without Bruno, it might be some kind of a issue. So yeah,
Great.
not very hot on United, Rashford especially because there are many other punts which you can see. in the midfield where you can get those more points. Again,
Right.
any thoughts about Spurs Liverpool host? Any thoughts about if there is no Haaland or anything, Salah, Nunes, or any of those options coming into your mind?
So Liverpool is a very tricky side, in my opinion. One game they're struggling against Nottingham Forest. Next game they are struggling against Leeds, who like you said, we would be expecting Liverpool to score a lot of goals against Leeds at least, not against maybe a Nottingham Forest who sit back. If Liverpool can't match the intensity of someone like a Leeds and they lose that match, and then again they go to the Champions League and win against one of the best informed European sides in the form of Napoli. So they're giving mixed signals, and Salah is there on top in terms of stats, but in terms of converting it, in terms of the big chances he is getting, and in terms of his conversions, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. And for a 13-12 million asset or a 7.58 million defender, you would be expecting more of a consistent run, and that is not happening at Liverpool. So I would also stay away from Spurs, who are also very tricky right now. I think these two, if you are trying, don't try to get in these players. If you have Salah, hold on to him for the next two fixtures, and because you don't have any 12-13 million player in who can come and replace him, especially if you have three City players already in the form of Cancelo, Foden, and Haaland. So yeah,
Again, as you mentioned, both teams are struggling currently. Might be a good game. The only main threat which Liverpool also struggle against was the counter-attacking threat, and Son, who is especially known for getting on his bike, who would be missing this match, and hence I see Liverpool might be a bit more attacking, taking advantage of that fact. So again, I see a open-ended game, and definitely if the City options are not there for captaincy, I'm looking at Salah as well. And to end this round of fixtures, what about Chelsea Arsenal? Rose? We all have two Arsenal midfielders at least, or attackers. So, what are your thoughts?
so for Arsenal, like we said during my wildcard, I think they are a top four, top two side in terms of attacking. So basically, I would always keep them there in the team, even if they come up against a big side like Chelsea, who on some days get rolled over, like we saw Brighton doing that. Arsenal is a very good side, both in transition and also in building up as well. So I think I'll keep all. I have three Arsenal players, and I'll probably play all three. And because Saka is also fit enough, it's a good sign for Arsenal.
Yes, definitely a good game for Arsenal assets. And Chelsea, I guess, would be going back to a back four with all the shenanigans of playing Pulisic, Sterling on the wing back
Left
side.
wing
Yeah,
back, right?
playing wing back. So doesn't suit very well, and probably could be a good game for Arsenal as well, who are in top form currently
Yeah.
and
So
will be
once
looking.
you score a goal against Chelsea, they struggle to get back because they don't have the confidence to go on and score more goals. So if Arsenal get a goal early, then it will be 2-3 goals in Arsenal. Like they might be able to produce that.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on. So again, just 2 weeks remaining from World Cup. So these are the fixtures which you might want to target. Again, as we mentioned, Man United, Rashford has two good games, but Fulham is most likely. Brighton Trossard is an option who has looked very good, but I again feel he has looked very good against bigger teams who give him
Right.
space rather than teams who sit back and try to defend. So again, they play two of those teams who like to sit back, defend. So again, Trossard is not an option. I wanted to ask you, Hose, one question: is Solanke an option for Tony if anyone wants to go there? They have two
So
fixtures.
two good fixtures, right? Leeds and Everton. I've never been a fan of Solanke, but during that run of fixtures, he did hurt a lot of people. So judging by the fixtures, I would say yes, it is an option. If you can't get in Wilson for some reason, then downgrading Tony to is possible. I think to a Solanke is possible.
Also, since we are on the point of Tony, Is Alvarez an option if we get any early news, maybe Haaland being rested or anything like that? Do you fancy going Alvarez?
I would fancy Alvarez if he started alongside Haaland regularly. But as a target man, I think in the last match against Leicester, Alvarez didn't have a touch in the first half. So that is pretty pretty common for a City striker. But when you don't have the end product like Haaland has, then it doesn't make sense to go there. And also, it eats up a spot in your team, right? You would want to have three players who start regularly in the form of Cancelo, Foden, or De Bruyne, and Haaland. So those are the three spots which are already taken in our team. So I wouldn't go there on Alvarez.
Also, one more punt I'm very eager on and want to bring it is Bowen. Right,
Bowen,
West
right?
Ham have a good run of fixture. He has been central to everything. Almost everything is coming from him. We have seen Ben Rama coming into action as well, who has been very good linking up with his Bowen. So, and they have a good run of fixtures. So yes, at that point, if you want to sell Zaha probably, who hasn't been performing as good as we thought, so Bowen is an option definitely. So yes, that's it. So these are few points which we wanted to come across and wanted to help you. So let's go on to our teams now. Yes,
Right.
so the eagerly waited your transfer. So just take us through your team.
Yeah, right. So I transferred in Wilson during the last game week because as soon as I saw Tony getting a fifth yellow card, then I got in Wilson because I always rated Wilson a lot. But the issue is that he gets injured. Like I rate a lot of players in the form of Marshall and Wilson who can outperform their XG, who are very good in terms of their finishing skills, but they get injured very regularly. So you can't keep backing them every time. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes off limping after this transfer because he's that sort of a player. But when he's fit, I saw Antonio in an interview saying that there are only two people who you would, keep in your side to, always outperform their XG. That would be Kane and Wilson, two strikers that could outperform their XG. So yeah, so I always rated him. So I took him on and avoided the two price rises. So that was a good deal for me. And as I said, Arsenal, I'm backing them. I'm playing all three, and City also. I'm playing all three of them. Uh, right now, I have one extra transfer, which I'll make the transfer closer to deadline to figure out any issues that would happen or that would come up during the last stages of the of the game week. So let's see what happens. Do you see any transfers that I can make? Only thing I feel is two Crystal Palace players. Crystal Palace is definitely struggling right now, and only at home they seem to at least keep a clean sheet. And especially since you have the likes of Saha, you might have something to say about it.
Yes. So the only spot I currently am not very sure about is Williams, who has lost his place. So we saw he was substituted, though his replacement, his name is Lodi, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So he didn't perform well as well when he played the previous game. So there might be chances, but again, Williams might be a bench option or anything. So that is the only point where I'm currently looking at. But how much money do you have in the bank? If you have enough to get a decent defender, maybe from a West Ham or somewhere, I might be interested in that to get a
yeah.
West
I
Ham
have
defender.
1 million in the bank. I have 1 million in the bank, and United just scored. So that is an
Oh,
update in the Europa League. United just scored. I'm not sure who scored exactly. Yeah, so that is a good sign. So I have 1 million in the bank. I can either upgrade Williams or upgrade someone like Eduardo to Solanke maybe because he has two
yes.
fixtures.
Yes. So yeah, either way, because I think there will be a need of bench in this 2 weeks.
Strength.
Whether we have seen a lot of players requesting to not their managers to not play them because they might be fancying World Cup more. So I guess there might be a place where we need those bench players. So that's why I just wanted to confirm on that. Apart from it, the team
Also,
looks very good.
also an update: Alexandro Garnacho scored and Ronaldo assisted. So great,
Great to see that
very
this
exciting talent he is, Garnacho.
definitely.
Right.
So
So that is it.
now,
Uh,
yes. So
what
now
is what
moving on
about your
to
team?
yes. So now
You,
moving on
you,
to my team. Probably the only
yeah.
option is if we get any early leak news, Zaha to Foden and then Tony to Wilson for a -4. If we see Foden might be benched or any thing like that, Tony to a dead rubber like a 4.5 or some striker, and Zaha to a KDB and captain KDB.
Oh,
So at the
nice.
moment, I am very bullish on the City. We like City players this week, and probably if I go Kevin De Bruyne, I might captain him. But let's see what happens. And as of now, what are your thoughts about captaining? Who's your captaining? Who?
So if Haaland starts, definitely he's going to be the captain. It all depends on the City news. Mayur, what do you think about someone who would want to transfer out Salah to get a De Bruyne, or like if you realize Foden is not starting and he hasn't started for the last two game weeks as well. So what do you think about Salah and Foden out to De Bruyne and someone like an Almiron maybe, like for people who are
Uh,
looking at it?
Probably I will go to Almiron. I have to say that then KDB, because I still think Salah has two good fixtures, and the 16 game week fixture is something of a deal breaker for me. But yeah, if you are sure you are going to captain KDB, then you are right. You can go for Salah to KDB. But my priority will be to keep Salah as well. That's what I am doing with my team as well. So yeah, but again, if you're sure you want to captain him, you can go with KDB. This is his week, probably looking at the way he has been playing. He has been rested, and they have Fulham who are playing at home. So goals galore would be there. So yeah.
All right.
So that's it for our video this week. If you haven't still joined our league, the league code is mentioned on the screen and in the description box below as well. Join there and compete with us. So yes, that's it. Hopefully we get some early team
Bye.
news and everyone's transfer
Yes.
gets through in time. Hopefully.
Right.
That's it.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.